up, y'all? It is your girl, Sarah from Sarah Styles here. I am going to show you what sold for me in March, what my top brands, top categories, sizes, subcategories, and then show you actual items that sold for me on eBay and Poshmark. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining. If you are new here, I am a reseller on various different platforms, and then I also do data analytics. I focus on that on this channel and on my Instagram. I have 2 dashboards for sale on Etsy and more to come, so follow me for sure if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But I have 2 for sale currently on Etsy. One for all platforms where you can look at your sales and look at different sales metrics to help hit your monetary goals. And then there's also an inventory one for the Poshmark sales report. If you are comfortable in Google Sheets and with data, you can add in your own data as well on top of Poshmark to look at inventory data, look at sizes, categories, top brands, subcategories, all of the information that'll help you source smarter and not harder and decide what is selling for you. That is what we're going to be looking at today. I'm currently doing a 50% off promo for those. Use the code SPRING. It'll probably be running for about a month. Depending on how things go, I may extend it as well. We are home right now. Now is the time to be looking at your data, deciding what is working for you to make very strategic plans about your business. So that's why I decided to do that offer for that. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already so that you can get notified of new content about resellers and about how to data analytics around reselling. I do a lot of analytical videos about reselling. So today's video, I am going to be looking at what sold for me in March. I've already released my financial video about how financially, sales-wise, how my March was. So definitely check that out. I don't want to give it too much away, so go look at it, but my sales were down. However, I don't think it was necessarily because of the pandemic that's happening. That was probably part of it, but I was also working a lot less due to other things as well. So check out that video if you're interested in that. Today, I'm going to be telling you what did actually sell and show you my top brands, my top categories, and all of that. So let's get into the data. This is the sales dashboard. It is a easy copy and paste from your sales and inventory reports from Poshmark. I do have lots of videos on how you do it, or you can always send me a DM on Instagram if you have questions. Summary really quickly, if you've watched me before, this Anthro downtown flapper dress is my most liked thing in my closet and no one wants to buy it ever. Likes does not equal sales. I've had that forever. It has so many likes on it and no one is going to buy it. This item is listed for the longest. It's like a free item that I just never relist, and it's been there forever. So my highest revenue brand is Coach. No surprise there. That is usually my highest revenue brand. I like selling Coach, and apparently I'm good at it because it usually brings in my most sales. Shoes is usually my top category as well, selling the most shoes. My sell-through rate is 6%. I did not work a lot this month. If you watch my financial video, I did not work a lot this month. My sales were down. That shows in my sell-through rate. However, my net income was fine. I did, are you done? My net income was okay because I didn't go shopping this month due to other things. So I was actually okay on that. Not a long-term financial business plan. Total listings. So this is interesting. I've done videos in the past about the Poshmark algorithm. There's a lot of talk out there that listing every single day is going to give you a bump in the algorithm. I don't think that's the case for Poshmark. I think I'm noticing that's probably the case with eBay, and maybe that's why there's talk about it. I don't think that's the case with Poshmark. Based off of the Poshmark algorithm data analysis that I did, there's a video out there called Poshmark Strategies That Work. As a video if you want to watch that. But based off of that, there's other factors that are helpful and work as well. So this is showing me, I just pulled in March's data, so you know I don't have these other months, but these are how many items I sold. I sold 44 items. This is only Poshmark. I am not looking at all of my other data. I sold 44 items on Poshmark. That is significantly lower than I usually sell. But like I said, I didn't work. Watch my other video. I wasn't working a whole lot. You can see my financials in the other video. I was listing, my listing compared to other months, I was actually doing a lot of listing. And that's because I am cross-posting to eBay, and as I go through and cross-post something to eBay, I just relist it on Poshmark. So that is there. My top brands, most sold is Vintage, highest dollars is Coach, my total revenue, highest average sale price is also Coach, and then my fastest selling brand is Moschino. I think I said that right. I don't know. It's a really fancy Italian brand. It was this blazer. It was so cute. It had like little cutouts and buttons. I'll show it to you guys in a minute, but it was really cute. It sold, I think, the day that I listed it, which was awesome. It's a nice brand to sell. I like having it in my closet. Don't always find it. These are my top 10 brands by items sold. What's interesting, so I like to shoot for those high average sale price items. I may be starting to change my strategy a little bit depending on what the economy does. People may not be having, an extra $84 to be spending on Coach. And so becoming more of a quantity seller maybe where I'm headed. I'll keep an eye on my data and see what happens. But these higher average sale price items, the average days on hand are going to be higher, 2 or 3, 4 months. Takes a little bit longer for things to sell. Higher average sale price, I don't necessarily care if they sit a little bit longer, if they're selling higher. These brands brought me the most total revenue. Vintage, I sold the most vintage. However, the average sale price was lower. I actually sold the most total dollar amount of Coach because the average sale price is higher. These are things that sold quickly, all sold in, these were all under a month, and then from there, how they sold. So those are my top brands for the month. If you follow me, Vintage and Coach are definitely up there for my top brands. Kate Spade purses, I tend to focus on shoes, purses, dresses in the summer, jackets and stuff in the winter, and then Vintage, mostly because I like Vintage. The average sale price for Vintage is lower than a lot of my other, purses. This Coach is up there. But I really enjoy Vintage, and so at $33, I'm still okay with that average sale price. I am starting to hone in on what specific Vintage that I want to buy so that I can make sure that it is worth my time. My top categories, that's all brands. My top categories for the month, let's look at that. The categories that I sold the most of for the month are shoes, and we knew that from the summary page. Bags are up there, dresses are starting to come up as well, and jackets and Coach. So these are I'm like a part-time seller. So I'm a part-time seller, but then I also do the dashboard and social media. And so I really am only spending 1/4 of the time on reselling activities. And so I don't have a lot of time to shop and to list. I focus on what works for me, and those are bags, dresses, shoes, and jackets. I continue to monitor this and see how that goes, but that's why you're seeing those as my top categories. That's really what I focus on and has the highest amount of volume in my closet and what I like and enjoy and I'm good at. Bags, average sale price is $75. Yes, please, I will take that. Dresses, $30. That's a good average sale price for me. $32. Accessories down here is $45. That was this one random scarf that I sold. I actually thought it was a Hermes scarf, and it actually was not. But it was a really nice silk scarf. I would have loved if it was Hermes. I got it for $1 at a garage sale. So those are, and I will walk you through and show you all of these items that made up this data. I do want to note that my average sale price is a bit lower than I like to see and a bit lower than I am aiming for. And that's for a couple of reasons. One, I wasn't working a whole lot this month because we're moving, and so we were listing our house, going and looking for stores, and then also with the pandemic, my kids are home with me full time now, remote learning. My oldest is on the spectrum and has learning disabilities, so it's not a, hey, go in your room and do your work. It's a lot of added extra support that is needed there. And then I also don't have childcare. So I am leaning heavily on when my husband is not working, watching the kids as well, instead of I had a sitter that would come over once a week and I would work, and I also would take advantage of childcare at the gym. We're not going to the gym right now, so my work hours are down a lot. And because of that, if I got an offer, I took it, almost every single offer. And sometimes they were lower than I wanted, but it was better than nothing because I was not working. The other thing, we are moving. And so I am trying to get rid of inventory so I don't have to move as much. And so I've been trying to get rid of a lot of stale inventory, selling out really low offers. And so that's driving my average sale price down as well. Quickly we can look at this, but it's not, I like women's, I sell women's. I've kind of dabbled in men's a little bit. As of right now, I'm doing what works for me because I don't have a lot of time, and also like I can't be sourcing right now. So I'm sticking mostly with women's. That is my split out. Average sale price for women's is slightly higher than men's. Typically speaking, that's a little bit higher than men's because of sending out the low offers and not really working. My sell-through rates for these categories, the sell-through rate is low because I was not working a lot. My sales were down. However, things that we're selling, my average sell-through rate up here, pants and jeans were selling at a higher sell-through rate. Sweaters were selling. I don't have a lot of sweaters. So part of that is because, so you can come look over here. Sweaters, I only have 11, pants are 11. So some of these are higher. Tops, I only have 17. So I don't have a lot of those. So it's making my sell-through rate higher. Not necessarily incorrect, but you have to kind of keep an eye on what's happening with your data as well. Like I said, shoes, dresses, bags, jackets, you can see those are my highest inventory items. So when I'm not selling a lot for the month, my average sale prices for those are low. So let's quickly, I'm not going to get into this too much. I've done other videos on this, on how I use this, but dresses is something. So as I was cross-posting, I was looking at my dresses, what is selling for me. I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt. Had I known this was happening, I wouldn't have done this, but I purchase a lot of prom and wedding dresses because they sell at high average sale prices for me. And I sold 100% of them last year. That being said, I think a lot of proms are being canceled. I've heard people are canceling their weddings, and so I may not be selling those. But there was no way for me to know that that was going to be happening right now, right? But as I go through and do that, I was looking at my dresses, the sizes that sold for me this month: small, medium, size 10, 4, 8, and large. That seems to be the normal for me, those sizes. Things that I have a hard time moving are those really small sizes, 0, 2. And I know a lot of people say the large sizes sell better. I don't find that to be the case for me all the time. I do really good with medium and larges. This XL and 1X has been sitting in my closet, and then the small and extra smalls are sitting in my closet. And that's the case for most categories. Subcategories, as I am going into possibly thinking about starting to source online, something that I like, something that has a high average sale price for me, is bags. But I want to know what kind of bags that I should be looking for. It's going to be a high learning curve because I can look for whatever I want. It's not like where I go to a thrift store and I'm like, okay, well, these are the things that I am fallen into. Which ones do I want to pick up? Now I can go on to various different sourcing sites and figure out what I want to look at. I'm probably going to start with bags if I go on to online sourcing, but what kind of bags work well for me? Totes, crossbody, and satchels are sold this month their sell-through rate is higher than my average was for the month, and they also have a really high average sale price. I might steer away from some of these other categories. And then as I'm going through and figuring out what other things, I may start to look at dresses a little bit more and see what is selling for me. I'm going to say on this data, for my sourcing, I'm going to look at more than 1 month. I will probably look at spring and summer data from last year, and then also this spring so far, to figure out what was selling well for me kind of moving forward. And then I can also look and say, okay, men, is there anything in men that sells? And it's typically shoes. Sometimes jeans, I can sell jeans. I bought a bunch of vintage Levi's, and I go back and forth in putting them in men's or women's. So that's why sometimes the jeans sell. So that is my data. It's not really a whole lot of new information for me. Coach tends to be up there. Shoes tends to be up there. Bags, all of that. This is telling me that my strategy that I'm doing right now is currently working. I'm good at selling those things. I know how to move that kind of inventory. Now for the fun part, do you guys want to see what actually sold? Michael Kors is a jacket. This sold for a little bit lower than I was hoping for, but it was missing the hood and it was coming towards the end of the winter period. We had snow the other day, so it is still snowing in some places, but I took that offer. These shoes, one of the things that was driving down my average sale price, these shoes sold for $15. I'd had them. They were a small price. They were a small size, so they sit for me. Small sizes sit. I would not pick these up again in a White House black market size 6. It's too small of a size for that brand. If it was like Gucci, yes, I would pick that up, but I probably would not pick these up again. They've been sitting for a while. I think I sent out an offer for $15 and they took it. She really liked them though. They are really cute. Michael Kors leather satchel purse. Again, these are my purses. I think it's kind of funny how many purses I sold this month because like people aren't going anywhere. Like, what do you need a purse for? I mean, I'll take it for sure, but like I sold, so this is a Michael Kors satchel. It was missing the crossbody strap. So $47 is a little bit lower than I probably could have gotten for it. It was a newer-ish style, but because it was missing the crossbody, and I think it had a couple scrapes on it. Vintage Dooney & Bourke. Y'all know me. I love my vintage Dooney & Bourke. This was a classic, cute vintage Dooney & Bourke. These Nyla black leather boots, they sold higher than I thought they were. I did a bins haul probably a couple months ago now, in the beginning of January. And one lady got rid of like her entire boot collection. And they were all size 8, and they some really amazing shoes. This was part of that. This is the garage sale scarf. It was $1. I grabbed it quickly because I was like, oh, it's 100% silk. That looks nice. Some of it, I think it was maybe trying to look a little bit like Hermes, not totally a knockoff. And I absolutely did not put that, I didn't say that it was Hermes, but that's why I grabbed it. It was still a really nice silk scarf, and that sold for $45. This purse sold higher than I thought. I think it was a full price sale, so I will take that. Vintage, this is something I bought thrift stores. So Halloween at the thrift stores in our area, they save up everything that they think might be Halloween related and put it out for Halloween. It's one of my favorite times to shop at a thrift store, especially if you like vintage, because they hold on to a lot of vintage, thinking that people are going to be dressing up with it. So this is something that I got there. I sold for $20, which I was okay with. Zara high-waisted jeans. Very rarely do I pick up Zara, but these were definitely kind of the in-style high-waisted with the distressed look. $13 is much lower than the average sale price that I like, but I knew that they would sell. I got them at the bins. This folio cashmere sweater, again, I got it at the bins. It was cashmere. I was hoping that it would sell a bit higher. I actually had it for a while, and then my brother-in-law is also a reseller, and he's from Morocco, and he's like, hey, my mom really wants a cashmere sweater. Do you have one? So I actually gave this to him to give to her, and he said it was going to be too small, so then I relisted it again, and so someone sent me an offer, and I was like, I will take it. These earrings, I must not have packaged them well enough, because she accepted it, but then left me a note saying that they were completely shattered, and I was like, you should, like, you've already accepted it. I'm so sorry. There's nothing that I can do about that. However, I will give you $11 credit towards my store, towards something else, because that's absolutely, like, you should not have to pay for those if they got shattered. She started liking things and then hasn't said that she wants the credit yet, but it's there for her if she wants it. And this is where customer service, I think, really plays in part. That was absolutely my fault. I should have packaged them better, and had she said she wanted a return, I would have given it to her. They shouldn't have been shattered. So hopefully she'll come back and do an $11 credit towards my store. These Toms, these were new without tags. They still had the, like, cardboard things in them. My brother-in-law actually gave these to me. So he's a reseller. Also, he doesn't really like doing women's stuff, but when he sees something that's good, he'll pick it up for me every once in a while. So he gave these to me. I don't like selling Toms a whole lot because they don't always sell that high, but these were new without tags, and sold for $20. Kamik, being in Colorado, I see a lot of this brand. They sell between like $20 and $30 for kids, depending on the what type of wear they have to them and the size. However, that's a pretty solid price for something for kids. I see them a lot, and in Colorado we get snow, but over the course of the winter we don't get a ton of snow, and then kids outgrow them. So I usually find kids snow boots in a pretty decent shape that can make Sorels, Bogs. Those are kids. I don't sell a lot of kids, but those are kids shoes brands that are pretty solid. They're going to sell, and they're going to sell between that $20 and $30 price range. And so I will pick them up, and I see them a lot. Brooks Brothers, I like Brooks Brothers. That's kind of a bias. I like, they make cute blazers, really nice jackets, $30. I think I got this at a thrift store. So I do thrift store shopping and bins. I'll try and tell you if I remember. This was me trying to do retail arbitrage. This is the last item. I purchased 4 items from like a big, we have a Coach outlet here. And I was like, let me try and do some retail arbitrage. A big outlet sale happened, so I went in and bought 4 items to kind of see how it went. It took me a year to sell this. And I don't remember exactly how much I spent on it, but it was retail arbitrage. So it was not $5, $10, $20. It was probably closer between like $50 and $100 on sale, because it's originally $500. So it sat, I spent between $50 and $100 probably, and it sat for a year for me to make $50. I'm not going to do that again. These Jag stretch jeans, I was trying to learn jean brands. So I picked these up a while ago at like a dollar sale thing, and they sold for $14. Finally, I don't like jeans. I'm learning. I don't really like jeans. Maybe people say they sell well, so maybe that'll be the next venture that I learn. Vintage jeans I like, because I like vintage. This J. Crew was the softest sweater. It was so soft. I'm really surprised it took so long to sell. I'm pretty sure I got that at a retail thrift store. This Gibson lined jacket, it had staining on it, and I bought it. I could not return it. I think I got it at the bin, so I could not return it. I disclosed it, and it did sell for $15. But I probably could have gotten more had it not had staining. Same with this Ravens jacket. When I purchased it, I was like, oh, that's cute. It's pink. And then I got home. I couldn't take it back by the time I realized it. And I think the purple bled onto the jacket. So I don't think it was supposed to be pink. And I disclosed that, but that's why I think I got this $18 price. Anthropologie moth, I'm surprised. If you watch me, I don't really like selling anthro. I have a hard time with it. But I found this at the bins. It was cheap, and so I thought I would try it again. It sold for $24. There's a top. I sold a lot more tops than I usually do. Some old stale tops. I don't really buy tops a lot. Athleta, these pants, I rarely buy Athleta. I wear a lot of Athleta. So I actually purchased these for my sister, and they were a little bit too big, so then I ended up selling them. I love wearing Athleta. I don't sell a lot of Athleta because it does sell between that $10, depending on what it is. Sometimes you can get $30 for it. It sells quickly, but I'm more of a high average sale price than a quick flip, so I really don't. And also, I keep most of the Athleta that I find. It's so comfortable. Dolce & Gabbana, these sold for $50. To be honest, I probably could have gotten a lot more. I don't know, maybe. The comps on these were all over the place. I probably would have countered these had I not been working at all this month and someone sent me an offer. I took it. $50 is still $50, right? Like this Madewell, I had this for almost over a year. It had more wear than I realized that it had at the store. And by the time I'd gotten it home to start listing it, it was too late to take it back. So it'd been sitting for a long time because it had a lot of wear. Madewell, I do like selling Madewell. It does sell, this dress probably, if it didn't have so much wear, probably around $20, depending on the style and how current it is. Hudson straight leg jeans, I'm telling y'all, like, I don't know with the jeans. I had these for almost a year as well. I don't know. I think I need to learn styles better. I don't know. This Coach bag actually sold the day that I listed it. So that was amazing. Vintage Jenny. I love vintage dresses. This sold higher than I anticipated. That's always nice. These Fry boots. I'm actually surprised that they only sold for $50. Fry boots, I'm finding the more Western cowboy-ish boot Fry style is what sells higher. I will take $50, of course, but those actually sold lower than I thought. Franco Sarto. I'm liking Franco Sarto for boots. I just sold a pair, I think yesterday, for $30 to $40 price range as well. Those were I found those at the bins. Heels, Nine West heels are fairly consistent sellers for me, but usually that $15 to $20 price range. They're super easy to take pictures of though. So I don't actually, and you can, thing I like about shoes too, from a listing perspective, most shoes have a name on the inside, so they're really easy to list and look up comps. This dress was given to me, I'm pretty sure this sold in a bundle. This is going back to like the beginning of the month, so I don't remember. I think this sold in a bundle. It was given to me at some point when I didn't have inventory, and I was like, I'll list it. This Nike official Olympic team jacket, I'm actually, excuse me, really surprised it sold for as low. But again, this was a point in my life where I was not listing, I was not doing anything. I mean, I probably hadn't been on for a couple days, and someone sent me an offer and I took it. Lululemon, these are size 2, so they kind of took a little bit longer to sell, and they're an older style. This is the Machina, I can't say that, but this is that jacket. It sold, some of the comps were quite a bit higher, but I got an offer for $45 when I was not doing anything the day that I listed it, so I took it. It was so cute. I don't know if you can tell, it's like cut out buttons. These Cole Hand, these were also part of that big haul that I got, size 8 from the bins. They're so cute. Coach buckle booties. I am so surprised these took so long to sell, and they sold so low. Coach, other than purses, Coach is very hit or miss for me. So if you sell Coach, leave notes down below on what, besides purses, what sells well for you. These are 3 vintage tees I got at the bins, and then I cropped them off to see if I could sell them. They actually sat for a really long time. Vintage prom dresses, y'all know me, $67 vintage prom dress. Great. I have like 3 more things. Are you okay down here working while I do my?
Well, except you're on my chair, but hurry up.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. This actually sat, and I'm actually surprised it like randomly sold. My husband just came down and brought me French fries. This was higher than I had anticipated. It sat for a while, but I relisted it because prom is coming up and stuff. This probably sold before the pandemic hit, so probably people were getting ready for prom. And then these are the 2 men's shoes that sold. I'm fairly consistent with men's just dress shoes, and they're pretty easy to pick up and decide because you can tell what a nice pair of shoes looks like. And then this is the first thing that I purchased that sold for me for the month. And a good way to start the month is $75 Kate Spade. These are just items that I was looking at and stuff, so that's not my stuff. So that is those. Let's look at eBay sales. All right, these are eBay sales. This actually, I just shipped that out. So these Aloe boot shoes, I got them for like $1 at a $1 sale day, and I'd had them for almost a month. I put them on eBay. These were Poshmark. This is me moving Poshmark over to eBay. I put them on eBay, and I think they sold in a day. So that's kind of the benefit to cross-posting, is different people are on different platforms looking in different various ways. This vintage, I'm actually surprised it's like a holiday, like a vintage holiday type shirt, like a blazer sequence. It is gorgeous. So that sold, this is the total including shipping, sold for $25. It was gorgeous. Vintage high-waisted jeans sold on eBay. This was actually an auction that someone paid the full price for, so $12 for these shorts and plus shipping. Again, here's a purse. This actually sat for a little bit longer. One of the first of that brand that I've actually purchased and sold. It tends to sit a little bit for me. Are you guys noticing that with that brand? Michael Kors, this had quite a bit of wear on it, so it did sell closer to that $50 price range. A blazer by BCBG Max Azaria, that sold a little bit lower than I was anticipating. It was new with tags. However, I was taking what people were sending to me because I was hardly working. Same with this Adriana Papel dress. I was hoping to get a little bit, it was more of a formal type dress, so I was hoping to get closer to the $50 price range. Sold for $35 and then, plus shipping. But, it was a point in life when I wasn't doing a whole lot, and so I took what I could get. These are also another pair of those vintage Levi's that I found. Some boots, these BCB G Max Azaria comps on those were all over the place. And so when someone sent me an offer for that, it was quite lower than I had it listed, but I wasn't in a position to be countering and not accepting things, so I took it for that. And I find sometimes that accepting a sale kind of gets things going in your favor, and then maybe you'll get other offers or better sales to come after it. These are vintage Levi's. I found that I went sourcing one day and I think someone got rid of all their vintage Levi's. I found probably like 10 pairs in the same day. I'm slowly working my way through them. They're selling between like $20 and $50 depending on the style. Michael Kors, it looks like I'm selling a lot of Michael Kors on eBay. $62. This one, I think I probably could have gotten a little bit. I was hoping for like the $70 to $80 price range, but again, I was hardly working, and so I took that. These Patagonia shirts were actually mine. I purchased them on Poshmark. I didn't really like the fit of them, so I was just selling them for what I purchased them for, so that is what that is. Coach, vintage Coach. I tend to have good luck with vintage Coach on eBay as well. This, oh, and now we're into... Oh, this is when it delivered, but this sold in February. I talked about that in the last one. All right, so that is what sold for me for the month. It was not a ton of sales compared to my normal videos like this. I didn't work a whole lot. And when you are not working, you're not making money. And a lot of the time I was working, I was doing YouTube and dashboard activities. But it was a nice supplemental income for me not having to do a whole lot. Those are things that were selling. Those were things that were selling well for me. Drop notes down below. What are you guys noticing right now with everything that's going on? How are sales working for you? What is selling for you? I don't do a lot of non-clothing, shoes, purse type things, but I've heard in the community that a lot of like DVDs and puzzles and kid activities are what's selling because people are stuck at home. So that's interesting. Leave notes down below. I hope you guys are all staying safe and sane in whatever capacity is good for your family, and I hope you have a wonderful day.